flag. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we gather this day with a spirit of responsibility and service to our community. Grant us wisdom as we consider the matters before us. May our decisions be fair, our discussions just, and the actions guided by integrity and respect for those we serve. Help us to listen with open minds, to speak with clarity and kindness, and to seek what is best for ourselves, not for the good of all. Bless our community, its residents, and all who strive to make it a better place. May peace and unity guide our hearts as we carry out this important work. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Welcome to the regular scheduled meeting, public meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals of Shreveport Caddo Parish Metropolitan Planning Commission. For public hearing agenda items, if you wish to make public comment on an application, we have comment slips at the speaker stand next to the podium. For future notification purposes, it is very important that you fill out a slip and drop it in the box when you come forward to speak. Please state your full name, mailing address, and zip code before addressing the board. We will call each case on the agenda in order and hear first from the applicant, then those speaking in favor. 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. We will then hear from those wishing to speak against an application. Again, 10 minutes allotted for principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. One representative of the application may then speak in rebuttal if desired. After hearing comments on each case, the board would then immediately deliberate and vote on that case before moving on to the next case on our agenda. Please note that when the board is deliberating, members of the public are not permitted to comment. Any member of the public may request a copy of the board's decision on a particular case by contacting our office at 318-673-6480 after 1 p.m. tomorrow, or by accessing our website at shreveportcattlempc.com. All zoning board decisions on variance to zoning within the city limits of Shreveport are subject to appeal to district court. All ZBA decisions on special exception use within the city limits of Shreveport are subject to appeal to city council. Please note that it is your responsibility to contact each district court or the city council about their procedures as related to the matter you are concerned with. Copies of this document and the phone number to contact the governing body are available on the table next to the podium in the entryway of this room. As a courtesy, please remember to turn off all cell phones while the ZBA is in session. The Zoning Board of Appeals value your testimony and appreciate your compliance with these guidelines. First order of business, can I get a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting, please?
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Henry, seconded by Dr. Brennan to approve. Let's vote. The vote is unanimous. First case on our agenda for today is case number 25-22 BAC variance. Kevin Bryan Architect LLC, Caddo Parish School Board. Will someone come forward?
Good afternoon. I am Kevin Bryan, address 712 Texas Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. Here to speak on behalf of Caddo Parish School Board. This is not the first time I've been here to represent the school board on a sign, not relocation, but replacement project. And this is at Pine Grove Elementary, where they currently have, if you see on this graphic, an existing pole sign to the left, which is in the middle of their primary parking lot, asking for permission to replace that with a smaller electronic sign. with a smaller electronic sign, which is on the right side of that image. And the variance request is because of it being in the residential, because of its residential nature, residential zoning district, and the variance request being for a pole sign, number one, and number two, electronic. And so, do you have a photograph looking into the? Just want to give you a better idea as to where it's located. There's probably one more that shows a little bit. One more, although that's a pretty good one, but one more. Here. No, I'm throwing that one. That's one of the primary entrances to the school, and that just kind of indicates the location of the existing pole sign that you can see. Yes, right in the middle in yellow. It's pretty much in the middle of the parking lot, surrounded by parking on both sides of the sign and the drives on both sides of the sign. And so the request is to basically keep the sign in that current location and replace it with the electronic sign. And the point being, it's the place where parents drive through and spend the most amount of time and have the most ability or the most opportunity to see what's being advertised on the sign. And so that's the basic request, the basic ask, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have regarding.
Are there any questions?
I have a question. What is your stated hardship for not wanting a monument sign?
The hardship is primarily related to readability and the availability for a parent who has limited amount of time driving in or out of the space to have enough time to read any kind of advertisement. Because with an electronic sign, they can continually advertise multiple items at once, as opposed to a static sign like you have there. With a static sign, you drive through, you glance at it, you catch the one message, and then you're out. With an electronic sign, they might broadcast 3 or 4 messages during the period that you are driving through. And so the longer you're in line in that particular location, at carpool, either during the morning, during drop-off, or during the afternoon during pickup, that is the most logical place to have a sign to reach the most amount of parents to convey the most amount of information. And so I think the hardship would be that you don't have enough time to provide enough information to the parents who are coming and going. If it's on the ground, if it's on the ground in this location, nobody's going to see it because it's in between, it's surrounded by cars. And then it's just, like I said, it's the most logical location for extended viewing.
Okay, my next question is, for placement of a monument sign, I don't think it's been stated where the monument sign has to be placed yet. Probably up at the front of the entrance somewhere up there. So, being that the sign can be placed at the front, is there a problem with it being placed up front?
Again, it's just a matter of maximum exposure. And it's also well within the site if you're looking at this site plan left, you pretty much are bound by a sea of trees. So, I mean, I feel like it's in a logical location in terms of being as far away from any residential as possible. It's pretty wooded around there, at least on one side. So, it's just the most logical location. It's the preferred location for the Caterpillar School Board. It's the preferred location for the principal. It's the preferred location for the staff. And so that's what we're asking for, is for it to be in the best potential location for maximum exposure.
That's all that I have.
Any more questions from the board? I'd like to ask you, you have been here several times, I've seen
Yes,
you.
sir.
A monumental sign would do the same thing as the pole sign. It would just be on the ground and probably more expensive. But what is the real objection to a monumental sign? Is it money? I mean, I understand what you said about placement and where it would be most whatever, but I'm certain that the school board and the school could find a place where a monumental sign would be just as notable. Is that not the case?
One of the reasons the school board does not like expensive signage down low is because it's within grasp or it's within reach of somebody walking by it. If it's on a pole in the middle of the parking lot, it's less likely for somebody to walk up to it with a bat and hit it. So vandalism is one of the primary reasons they prefer a sign higher rather than lower. Now, it's not going to keep somebody from picking up a rock and throwing at it, but that is one of the primary reasons. I'm not coming here and asking you to do this because that's where I want it. I'm here representing the school board and representing their ask. And I have expressed to them your desire not to see me here anymore on related to these items. But as long as there's a possibility for me to ask for a variance, and as long as the school board is asking me to do so, I'm going to keep coming to see you. And I apologize because I feel like I aggravate you guys every time I come here to make this request. But you know, it is the most logical location for the school board and for the people who use the school and for the parents. And that's the primary focus for why I'm asking you for her to be in this location.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Hi, Kevin. I don't envy your position either,
you.
but you always are very professional when you come and speak before us. I would just say that of all the ones we've done, this one seems like the least egregious placement because it is so far in the campus. It's not out, you know, in a recreational yard on a street like so many of them are. And I kind of akin it to a lot of, if you treat this like a campus, like we've done Centenary College and other campuses, this is an internal sign as far as I can appreciate for this particular case. And it actually addresses what their concerns are, whereas some of them I feel maybe have not in the past, because, for example, would be South Highlands, I think, on Line Avenue. That's on Line Avenue. No one's in a carpool lane reading that. It's just out in the middle of the recreational yard on Line Avenue in the middle of the block. Whereas this one I feel, again, least egregious in my opinion.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is there someone else wishing to speak in favor of the sign? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the sign? If not, then would the board like to deliberate?
Need a motion first.
Oh, okay. You've heard the argument. What's the motion? Can I get a motion?
I move to approve. Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Berry, second by Dr. Brandon to approve. Let's vote.
You gonna have any discussion, Mr. Chair?
Oh, I beg your pardon. I did call for discussion. I apologize. Yes, any discussion from the board?
There is a reason why ordinances are written. It's not just somebody pulls something out of the sky and says, this is what we ought to do and punish Pine Grove Elementary because we want to do these things. You know, you have residential districts, and Mr. Bryant, I respect everything he said. We've had conversations about this. He's an excellent architect, and he knows what he's doing. My problem is, and it continues to be, that Caddo Parish School Board should be no more privileged than Caddo Parish Commission, City of Shreveport, City Council, federal government, state government, or any other branch of government. We all love kids. We all want parents to support kids, but we do have laws. And when you have laws, one should obey those laws if it's all possible to obey those laws. I've been to cities where pole signs are just totally banned, and all the signs are monument signs. And that is one of the most beautiful cities that you will ever see because you eliminate all of the visual clutter in the sky. We are trying very hard in inner city neighborhoods to make these neighborhoods more attractive, more wholesome. more desirable. But we can't do it by ourselves. It requires that everybody involved has to contribute to the uplift of these neighborhoods. This is a very challenged neighborhood. It has been a challenged neighborhood. We're trying to come up with neighborhood plans and the ability to do neighborhood plans to address some of the problems. There's not even a grocery store in the MLK area. And they've been trying to get a grocery store for 10 years. I'm just saying that if the law is so unfair, then you need to be about the business of trying to get it changed. This approval would be detrimental and would be a setback to progress that we made because we had an ordinance done not by myself, not by Stephen Jean, but by a consulting firm that does ordinances all over the country. It's a very fair ordinance. We've asked, and Kevin can attest to this, we asked, if Caddo Parish School Board wants to meet and talk about situations, we would be happy to meet and possibly recommend an ordinance change. But what happens over and over and over again is they decide that the ordinance is not worth respecting, so they don't come down. They send Mr. Bryant down. But the ordinance is the ordinance. And at some point, as I leave the MPC, at some point, we have to enforce the law. The law is the law. If it does not have a identifiable hardship, it does not meet the criteria for a variance. And this does not have an identifiable hardship. I just wanted to share that with you because we are the ones that have to stand up and defend the laws that protect our city and our communities. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. Anybody else with comments?
I haven't been on the board as long as some of the other members, and I certainly appreciate the ideas and the background of what's gone on previously, and I hear the story of that Mr. Clark is presenting. At the same time, it's been stressed off and on that we are the Board of Appeals. We are not making the rules. We are here to decide if we can change the rules to accommodate something. I understand that these rules were made through the City Council, and I don't like bending the rules very often, but I do think that at times it makes more sense to break the rules than it would to keep them the same. I understand, Mr. Clark, that the MLK neighborhood is not the strongest, but from what I see, from what they are proposing for this particular school and the particular signage, that the signage seems to work better as proposed in the ordinance, in the request than the law is. And so that's my reason for seconding the motion, and I will vote to approve the application.
Thank you, Mr. Brandon. I got a comment also to Mr. Director. I understand exactly what Dr. Brennan is saying, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. I also say that if you leave the sign there, the sign that's there, it's still, if changing it is going to be detrimental, then what do we have there now? I mean, it can't be pretty. It cannot be a better sign than what they will replace it with. If it was not supposed to be there and it was an eyesore, then I would agree. But changing it to something that gives a little bit of, it gotta be better looking than what is there. So I would be voting for it also. Any more comments? If not, there's a vote. Let's vote. The vote carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to 1. It's approved. Thank you. That is all on the agenda for today. Is there any further comments from the director or any other matters? I'd like to know if anybody in the public would like to make comments. If not, do we have any comments from the director?
I will just share with you and request with you and literally beg you. There are ordinances on the books for a reason. They are for a reason to assist in the development of the city of Shreveport. We cannot improve our inner city neighborhoods if you continue to break the law to feel sorry for a Caddo Parish School Board. They are the worst violators in the city. I have nothing against Caddo Parish School Board, but what you're forgetting, what you may not be aware of, is that at the time that these pole signs were placed there, they were legal. So when it comes time to replace these signs, and you have a new ordinance that is a better opportunity for the placement of the signs, that's why it requires a variance, and that's why it requires a hardship that prevents an applicant from doing what the ordinance says. You are the board, but the law, I will say still, is the law. And Caddo Parish School Board continues to violate the law, and your assistance in allowing them to violate the law is not helpful to staff or the city at all.
Mr. Director, we vote according to how this board feels. And if we've been breaking the law, if we're breaking the law now, we've been breaking it because we have certainly voted in favor of ordinances that were on the books, and the staff recommended not to approve them, and we approved them. So I don't want to get into the back and forth, but I will say this. The majority of this board voted in favor of this, and I don't go leave here feeling like I'm aiding and abetting lawbreakers. The Caddo Parish School Board has requested a request. We thought it was less egregious, as Mr. Berry said, and we voted. Now, I am all about upholding the law, and I will do so every time I think that it's warranted. This case right here, the majority of the board members thought it was okay to approve it. And I would just say that for the record. Is there any more comments?
I'd like to make a comment. I want to agree with the fact of what the director was saying. We do have laws, ordinances that are on the books. And at the same time, there's a portion that we get to where we need to see whether there's a hardship. And if there is no hardship, an identifiable hardship, then the law is the law. The ordinance is the ordinance. And that's why I voted the way I voted. True enough, a monument sign may be a little more expensive, but in that area, they may need something. They got to start somewhere. And if students come in their school and teachers come in their school and they see this big, nice monument sign sitting out front, oh, this is what we got now, instead of this little post in the middle of the school. So in my opinion, that's why I voted the way I voted. And I think that we do have to start somewhere and setting a precedence. Like, hey, this is what the ordinance is. unless you have a hardship, whatever the hardship may be, if you can state it and we agree with that hardship. If not, the ordinance is an ordinance. That's my take on it.
I'll just make this comment, and I don't know how this would work, but my thought was, if this particular situation needed to be approved, and I didn't see a better way for that to happen. However, if the goal is to get Caddo Parish School Board to come to the table and meet on these issues, I would have chosen to ask that be a condition. I didn't know if that's an option, but a condition of this being approved is that they would agree to sit down and talk to you and your staff and make sure that moving forward, this is something that could be avoided, or we could come to a solution that would win on both sides.
More comments? If not, meeting is adjourned.